What's up, everybody? Welcome to Daily Refinement. On Wednesdays, we have our mastermind call live on YouTube. The other days, we do it privately, Monday through Friday. And then we have 20 other calls each week in pretty much every category. We're going to try and add sports cards on Friday afternoon. Just need to find the right host. But we have jewelry, we have book club, we have toys, we have a shoe call, we have a media call, and then we have a video game call and online arbitrage. So lots of good stuff for different sellers. Today, I want to talk about things that help us sell more. And before the call, Beth brought up having a checklist of things that you go through when you are thrifting. And I think that checklist is the same checklist that you do when you're sorting. Let's say some people buy in bulk, some people buy one by one. But for clothing, you can have a short checklist like checking for stains, checking for crotch wear if you sell pants, checking for the elasticity in the waist if you're selling pants. If that's worn out, you'll probably get a return. You can check the cuffs to see if there's over too much damage. You can see the distress to see if it's factory distress, meaning it came from the company like that, or somebody wore a strange hole on the right knee. Clothes stretch, use clothing changes sizing. So I use a green sticker on all my items when there's a problem to notify that when I'm thrifting. I do it again when I'm sorting. I recommend using a high powered light. The cheapest way to do this is to just buy a headlamp and just use the headlamp even at your desk because it's super bright. They're like $10 for two of them. I always get the 2-pack in case one doesn't work. But a really high powered light will help you grade cards. It's like super, super, super important. I would say that's a really good hack. If you had a headlamp, you could look at something specifically and figure out all the defects. Every single category has different grading criteria. This is huge because it reduces returns. And we're talking about in this group how we want everyone to be top rated seller, which means you need, to maintain top rated seller. So $1,000 in sales, 100 transactions in the last 90 days is the minimum, but we want people to get to that 400 mark, 400 sales in 90 days. Do a great job. So in case something happens, you have a couple defects here or there, can't find an item, you don't lose that status. And eBay is being more strict. They are reviewing people's accounts. So if you put buyer canceled because of out of stock, and that's not true, then they will remove that option from you and you will not be able to say the buyer canceled. So it's pretty easy because they have to look and see if there's communication between you and the buyer. And a lot of people just cancel without even notifying the buyer, and you will fall below standard. You will get put in the eBay doghouse and you will not get traffic. So we could call this a hack video. If you guys have a specific hack, what has helped you? One more thing for me that really helped was timing myself and putting myself on video in the group. That was very useful. I picked up a few more savings. People even said that my arm wasn't at the right angle when tearing off the label, and that actually does help. If I keep my elbow towards my side when I peel the label, it's a little bit more comfortable peeling off the label. So little things like that do add up over time. Marcus, do you have a tip for us or an idea?
Oh crap, am I unmuted still, man?
No, you're all good.
Yeah,
What's
man. I
helped?
didn't
What's
realize.
helped you in your business?
Uh, so I've been in this group for I think this is my second month now. Uh, the biggest hack that I can recommend is for me was getting off the floor, taking my listings because my number one, my photos would rotate all different weird wonky angles.
Mm,
So I'd have to spend time rotating the photos back around. I'd have to bend over, flip the shirt, do all this and all that. And just getting the vertical flat lay has really been a game changer for me as far as cutting down my process by the time that it was taking to take photos. Selling similar off my own listings has really cut my listing time down tremendously. And then a draft bank has allowed me to go sourcing completely without doing any listings for a day, to try to get as many items as I can for listing throughout the week. So that's been the biggest thing so far within the first 2 months of being in this group.
that's a lot already. If you can learn how to sell someone from your own listing, it forces you to have a really high quality listing to begin with.
Haven't perfected it yet, but it's been a game changer.
Thank you for sharing, Landon.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, coming back to talking about Beth and just like doing your process, like I think it's important to try to catch it because I think a lot of people have the common problem of once they do finally find that rhythm and that method of listing and photographs and everything, and then they get to that item, it's just one of those hiccups that like it should be minor, but I think a lot it should just be okay, throw it to the side. But sometimes it's more than that for people. It's like they picked it. Now it's should I list it? Should I not? And it's like you can kind of just cut that out in the beginning. But at the same time, if you're say you're at the bins and you only have 30 minutes to be there, you might need to look a little less. You might want to just it's cheap product, get it and check when you get home. But if you're cherry picking in the Goodwill and you have 2 hours in a regular Goodwill, you might want to take a little bit more time. So, I think it's also where you're sourcing, how much time do you have while you're sourcing? Because sometimes if you're at a yard sale and you have a whole table of t-shirts for a quarter, you might not need to go through there and triple check them all. But if they're all $5, you might want to, look a little closer.
Um, I agree with that. And also somebody put in the chat, Vic said that you can use your phone light. You can, but I always laugh at people that are using their phone light because they lose one of their hands. So I crush all those people at the garage sale and flea market that are using their phone or a flashlight. Why would you handicap yourself like that when you're out in the wild? I know Tech has Wolverine vision, so he can see in the dark. I can't. I think if you have a headlamp, or it's like the people at the book sale that scan one at a time versus people using a scanner. It's so slow with one hand. So using your phone light, it's also not as bright as a headlamp, although make sure you don't blind the vendor because that's also happened. So be careful. Also, if you bring a headlamp, I recommend it makes you look like a reseller to a degree. So just be careful. Being a reseller is fine. You just don't want to let them like the more professional you present yourself, the higher the initial price they will give you. So that's why you don't wear Versace to a garage sale and pull up in a Range Rover. Just have a regular car, dress normally, but have a big wad of cash. That helps you. That will help you. But looking like you're rich does not work. But yeah, the checklist for defects, everyone put that in the chat. And so Grant is saying, can someone put the link for the stain call? What I would do is I would watch the last couple of calls with Michelle, the clothing call. Both of them are really good, but there's one specifically, I don't have the date, but where she goes over the different stains on women's clothing and the different wear and where you would need to look out for. That's really useful. But I think the main thing for me is checking armpits. Armpit stains are very difficult to remove. So I've been leaving that stuff away or leaving that stuff there if it has that defect. Let's see. Ben is saying the biggest hack has been doing photography drafts and put the items away all in one go. I 100% agree with that. If you guys watch the video that I did all in one, I put the items away immediately after. It's just one motion, photography, listing, put the item away, 10 items. It took me 31 minutes to do 10 items. That part of it. Isaiah?
I just wanted to, we kind of got a little bit too far from it, but just to kind of piggyback off of what Landing was talking about, when you're in the threes and you don't have as much time, I think rather than being less picky about what you're picking up, it might be better off to be like a lot more selective on what you're picking up. So let's say you go in there, you only have 30 minutes, so you're going to go hit the jacket specifically, or you're going to go hit the shoes exclusively, or whatever your niche is. Like you kind of narrow down into one aspect of it and try to get as much as you can of that item, rather than trying to like, I'm gonna try to pick up every shirt that's valuable for me if you only have like 30 minutes or something like that.
I agree with that. If you are more picky, you'll have a better eBay life. So it's like the hard sourcing life equals easy eBay life. So if you spend a lot of time sourcing, you know what you're looking for, you've already checked comps. Somebody posted on Instagram this morning, I saw that the biggest problem with resellers is picking up low dollar or free items. So something cheap or free and having a low ASP and then never getting around to listing it. That's like a pretty common thing. So instead of doing that, you could do what Isaiah does and only buy things you're excited to list, and just go to 4, 5, 6 more thrift stores. Find only the stuff that you are excited to sell. Because I don't think anybody finds something over $100 or over $50 and then they don't have problems, or they have problems listing that. It's like the 12, 11, 10, $5 items you get for free, or 25 cents. I went to a garage sale where everything was between 10 cents and 25 cents. And I was thinking, man, how old is the person that made this garage sale that things are between 10 and 25 cents? How does that? That's amazing. Have they not gone outside in 50 years? There's nothing that cheap, 10 to 25 cents per item. Let's see.
Chris, another thing that speeds me up in the thrift store is that because I've been doing my numbers, it's like I can't make a profit that I want to make on that item if it's $7. If it's $5, yes, but if it hits $7, now I can't make $10 an item.
Wait.
So
Is that why not?
Because some stores have changed the prices on things. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm selling something for $17,
I see.
and
well,
I'm making
if it's at $17, yeah, then yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because if maybe it's all bread and butter, that kind of thing. So it's like you can look at 10 shirts, 10 men's dress shirts, and they price them differently. And it's like, that I can't make that kind of money on it. So basically it's knowing what your return on investment is going to be on that particular niche, and knowing what you're going to make a profit on and what you're not. And that saves me a lot of time.
Absolutely. And I would piggyback on what Isaiah said. If you increase your thrift price to $15 on average, then you might have a really good eBay store because you're only buying what Goodwill has already sorted as the best stuff. And that stuff, even if it sells for $30, it might sell faster than the $4 into $17 model, because the $4 into $17 model, sometimes that $17 item, if you discount it to $5 free shipping, it still won't sell. There's just not enough demand for it. But the $30 item, $30 is the sweet spot. And that's where, like, I've heard a lot of people say this. When I was first starting, Craigslist Hunter said that people don't usually donate stuff that's under $30. They usually keep it or garage sale it or sell it themselves. Your job is to go in there and find those $30 items that people accidentally donated. The stuff that's less than that, harder to sell, takes up storage space. So if you can limit yourself to what Isaiah is saying, and you don't pick up anything under $30, even if it's free, you probably won't have a death pile, and you'll have a little bit of margin. You can accept best offer without batting an eye because it's, you have that extra room. Chris is also saying a draft bank really helped her. I would agree. I now have a 2-week draft bank. So I think I'm excited. I want everyone to list 1 to 5% more than your daily goal. So if your goal is 20, 21, and after a month, you'll have a draft bank. So it doesn't take too long
Chris,
to catch up. Catherine, then Isaiah.
I found that if I save some of my items that I photographed for this morning meeting, those are the items I enter into my draft bank, because the coffee hasn't quite hit yet. So I can just do my drafts in the morning, and then I do pictures in my listing from the, and I always have some extra items left to do my drafts the next morning. And that's helped me build up a draft bank. It's just a different scheduled way of doing it, I guess.
Isaiah?
I feel like, so previously I was listing 35 items a day. And once I dropped my store down to 17 items per day, it kind of unlocked something for me mentally, in which I realized that when tech was smaller and when you were smaller, you guys like focused on buying things that were, $5, $7, $10 and selling those items for 30, 35, $40, where you had plenty of margin to work with. So
Yeah.
every item you sold, you made $15-20 profit each item.
In the beginning, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing
Yeah.
is, like we always say, like in the beginning, you can do that. That's something for when you're starting. But the crazy thing is that a lot of us that are at the under 30 listings per day level, we never try to do that. We always try to like buy it for $3, buy it for $1, and sell it for 10, 12, 13. And don't get me wrong, the everyday value model is very effective and it works as you get larger and larger as a seller. But like, I feel like a lot of us are skipping that period of time when you're small, in which you can have a smaller store and make a lot of money per item.
That's
And
very wise. That's very wise, Isaiah. Because what happens is people see large stores and they want a large store. So they start building a large store, but they didn't put in their dues in the beginning to figure out what sells fast. Because in the beginning, you can have a 100% sell-through rate. I know that sounds crazy, but your first 100 items, you could sell all 100 in the first month if you take your time and you go through. And then what happens is, let's say you pick up $30 items. When you're desperate, lower it to $20. It will sell immediately. You can't move honestly, anything under $30 doesn't move quickly. That is interesting on eBay. From me looking at all the different stores, you have to be really big in order to afford to sell things under $30. Like, let's just call it the TJ Maxx model. TJ Maxx, Ross, their average sale price is under $20, and it costs millions of dollars to open one. Right? Hard, very difficult. But then you look at a boutique, there are boutiques in every city where everything is $50 and over, and there's never anybody in there. Sometimes those stores make it because their average sale price is so high. They only need to sell a couple items per day. But I think more and more of those businesses will go out of business without being online. When you're online, you get the benefit of so many people. But you're right, Isaiah. That's very smart, very wise.
I think a lot of us just look at you guys, you and tech, and go, man, I want an 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 item store. So I'm just gonna put as much stuff in my store as possible.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like you could have 1,000 item store and make a ton of money if you do a really good job sourcing. If you lean into, instead of getting more items and doing more work, instead you do more work on the front end, which are sourcing and your knowledge, are picking up $50, $60 bangers consistently, I think you get a way better business than you would otherwise. And that's what Tech's business looked like. And he was talking about that last night.
Yeah. He made like $186,000 or something like that with the 30 a day model by himself. And that model is the best eBay model because you don't have to pay for extra space. You can do it at home. You don't need any help. It takes under 4 hours a day. You easily make $100,000, no headaches, but you have to have a Rolodex of what is over $30. Without that knowledge, you can't do it because you'll have your sell-through rate will be too slow. And I think that I made this mistake, and everyone makes this mistake, but Tech did not, which is buying bulk. You should not buy bulk. In the first one, when I did the 100 or the Reseller Nirvana store, I bought every single item by myself and looked through all the things that Landon and Beth were talking about earlier. I checked all the different stains, flaws, and I only picked up, like, I used the example in the video, Madewell. All you did was go to 10 thrift stores and look for Madewell, you would find some. You find at least one. There might be something wrong with it, but that's okay. If there's something wrong with it, somebody asked in text call last night, what happens if it's or do stained or damaged items still sell? And he said he sells 200 damaged or stained items a day. And for me, when I first started, the pair of Madewell jeans, because this is the most common reason they get donated that I see, the elastic in the waist wears out. So they no longer fit right. So they get donated. People don't donate $225 jeans for no reason, right? So then you have to describe that to the customer and say, you know what, this $225 pair of jeans would be 30 to 50 pre-owned on eBay in great condition. This one's not in great condition. The elastic is worn out. So $13.99 plus shipping. It'll sell the first day because somebody will rehab that pair of jeans that was so expensive to begin with. So you have to look at that niche. And then now that I've said that, that won't be a bolo anymore because everyone will go out looking for that brand and it's dead. So you have to look in your normal area if you're in the group and you go to the call where we teach you how to find stuff local in your area and you can avoid bulk buying for a long time. You'll be good. But people in the chat are saying, I only pay 25 cents an item. I bought 1 million items. That person's usually doomed unless you have a processes the sort that you're going to be in trouble. Corey?
I was just gonna say we did that exact thing. We watched tech.
Sorry, your audio is a little bit soft.
We did the same thing. We looked at tech tips on how to search different areas, and we used that to come up with a rule in text of about.
We can't hear. I can't hear you.
No, it's low on my end as well.
We'll come back. Colin?
Yeah, I think for maybe for selling clothes, the size of the store matters, but when like I sell sports cards and my store needs to be, I need to have as many items in it as possible because my margins are a lot lower, like a $10 profit or $8. Like we sell stuff that's, you know, $3, $4, $5 each.
Right.
But when people are going in to buy, they're not necessarily buying something that they want to wear. They're buying something that they need, like to finish a set off.
This is a great conversation because I agree with you. I have good margins, but the profit per item is small. So I need a large store, but you could be a sports card seller. So it's interesting in the sports card niche, you could be a really small, expensive card seller. There's plenty of those, tons of those, right? But the people who make the most money in the card game are volume sellers, just like in every category. But being an everyday value card seller, you probably need thousands of listings so people can buy 2, 3, 4, 5 items and save on shipping. And that is the key because like there's people looking for one card to complete their set. And I've been noticing this because there's so many people who break cards and people will say, okay, I'm going to buy this pack. And then a lot of times the sellers will say, don't buy this pack. Just go buy that individual card on eBay. Like, don't be opening all these packs looking for a specific card. Just buy that specific card. It's cheaper. So I agree with you in a sense that to make the most money, you need the biggest store with everyday value. That's the most money. But to get started, small and expensive, I think. But Colin, where are you in your business? What are you working on?
Right now I've been on eBay for probably 20 years, but I just didn't realize, you know, that you needed to list every day kind of thing. So I had about 1,000 cards in my store, but as soon as I got them in there, I just let them sit literally for a year.
Yeah.
And so I've just started to list about 10 cards a day, and I've noticed that my traffic has increased a lot, but I still need to get like, you know, like I'm more into vintage cards. So I'm listing cards from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So it's nothing is new really. Like I've got 2 stores, one that has raw cards and one that has graded cards because it's a different customer.
Yep.
The graded guys, they just don't buy raw stuff. So, but that's where all my high end stuff will be, in the graded stuff in the graded store. But for the raw, like you look at Burbank sports cards, they've got 40 million listings, right? So they're selling cards for $1, but they're selling
definitely
thousands of them
a
day.
Yeah. No, and I think that it is interesting, right? Because the largest eBay seller, I think, was at 16,000 sales a day. And the average sale price is $8. So it's something crazy. Like they do $41 million a year in sales or something and $1 million in profit. Like, can you imagine? That's like, what is that? What is that? That's a 2% margin. Can you imagine you sell something for $10 and you only make 20 cents? That's very difficult on a small scale to make any money. You would need a huge store. So yeah, it's interesting looking at, but the thing is you can't be Burbank sports cards when you're starting.
Not right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to scale. And the daily listing part is interesting because it allows your traffic to remain the same. And that's how you build a business. It's very hard to build a business when you get a big hit and then nothing, big hit and then nothing. You don't have enough cash flow to survive. So if we can all listen to Isaiah, small, expensive store, spend more time sourcing. That's great. So back in the chat on YouTube, a couple comments. Jenna says she's a very good hunter. Usually people who are great hunters are bad resellers because they don't, that's only a small part of reselling. It's only maybe 10 to 20% of reselling is finding the item. The rest of it are your systems. So she mentioned she needs a dedicated space. I agree with that. That's a huge hack. Anybody that has a dedicated space is huge. Just to give you an example of that, yesterday I was watching a YouTuber. I forgot his username, but he has a different setup for every single kind of YouTube video. Ones where he does product reviews, the camera is set up. Ones where he does talking head videos, camera set up. Everything is set up. He can make videos faster than anybody else, so he can focus on the quality. And that is a huge difference in people who are setting up their photo station every day, which you might have to do. But if you have to take it down, put it back up, your listing station is not clean. I do this video every day in the same place. So every time you have to move around, it makes it a lot more difficult. So Corey said he used text tips to search local. They were, wow. Okay, this is like super pro tip. So Corey is saying they were able to find 30, or Corey was able to find 30 to 40 brands that have a sell-through rate that's fast and an average sell price of $30. So, I mean, that's honestly worth thousands of dollars. The knowledge of what is in your area that sells for over $30, that's priceless. That's insane. Now, it does make me wonder though on the people who want to do everyday value. If you're a card seller and you sell only graded, that's the $30 above game. The raw, that's different. You would need different systems. Like I know Frank in the group is selling 1,200 cards a day. That's very different. He can make it, even if he's making $1 a card, he's killing it. He's not though, but that's one model. And you have to be really razor sharp in your systems to ship 1,000 a day. And that's why, oddly enough, the card guys have great feedback. Usually they have great feedback because they have amazing systems. And Colin, do you use a scanner? How do you get your?
Yeah, I use a Fujitsu scanner, and that's the benefit that I'm in. Like I can scan 100 cards in a minute, both sides, crops it and everything. So I don't need a photo station, so to speak, and waste time taking pictures when I can do a week's worth of pictures in a minute, literally. Mm-hmm. And also for sourcing, like I do shows every month, every week.
Yep.
And so people, they come to me to sell me stuff. So I don't have to go out and look for it.
That's great.
So I should, technically I should be listing more per day because I'm saving all this time with some of the other aspects of the selling part. But shipping is definitely, because what I do, which I guess clothing sellers wouldn't be able to do is, every card has got a value. Like when
Absolutely.
You look at, and so if I know that a card is going to sell for $10 every time, and I'll do an auction every month, start everything at $1, and I know that it'll at least sell for $1. So all my crappy stuff, I'll get at least $1 for, even though I don't even have $1 into it. But what that does is it brings a lot of eyes into my store by having an auction, because everybody wants to get everything cheaper than what it is on a buy it now, right?
Definitely. Auction, according to eBay, auctions end at 80% of what a buy it now could sell for.
Yeah.
The exception would be like sometimes rare items sell for more. If you get a bidding war.
In the past, though, a buy it now, eBay took a bigger cut of a buy it now than an auction. So there was a little bit of a difference there.
Brandon is saying it's key, or price is key with cards. Price is key with everything. Yesterday, somebody in the chat asked, what happens if your item has a lot of views but no sale? That's usually because it's priced too high. So I remember when I sold on Poshmark, people would try to get 600 likes, which is the maximum you could on an item. And I'm like, why? I don't want any likes. I want the first person to see the item to buy it. 0 likes. I don't want any hearts. I just want money in my bank account. So you have to have it converting. So if you have and I tried that, if you put in an Hermes Birkin crocodile bag, it'll get 600 likes, but no one will buy it because somebody needs $58,000 to buy that. There's not that many of those people. So the everyday value people usually have fast churn too. So Minx in the chat is saying, never thought of selling an item that someone would buy to rehab and upsell later. That's another thing that is not a hack, but it's something that Tech and I both do, which is we have business to business customers in the store. Like every day now, I'll get a sale of at least 10. He gets orders of 20, 30, 50, 100, because people have been buying from him for a long time. And all of those items usually need rehab. They're like not retail friendly. Retail friendly would be like you have a store where you're getting all the money, or you're doing like there's only a couple of stores of retail on eBay, and I always use my friend Brian, because his store is a retail eBay store. So people are talking about, having great photos, but maybe they don't like a great photo, a retail photo where you ask all the money, right? You want every penny. This is what retail photos look like. They're taken with professional lighting, right? The detail is extraordinary. You can, like, everything is perfectly straight. You don't need his worker makes minimum wage that takes these photos. It's just set up. So the pant photos are perfectly steamed. This is what retail looks like. Okay. Most people can't get retail prices because they don't give this kind of presentation for clothing. This is insane compared to the normal eBay listing. This looks like a retail store. Very different. And it's not the suit and tie are not, I'm sorry, the tie and shirt are not part of this. It's just the suit, I believe. Yeah, it's just the suit. So if you're looking for all the money, this is the presentation that you need. If you want part of the money, right? So if you're just rehabbing it, like if you're selling something that you want less than the full amount, you don't have to do that. You can just take a picture on the floor and someone will buy it from you. Or the most extreme version of that is when people sell in bulk, they'll put one nice item on top and people will buy the whole Gaylord just so they can get the one piece on top. This is like storage unit auctions. I have a hard time believing that storage units are not staged. Just doesn't make sense to me that they're not, but I guess some of them are, and maybe they don't need to be, but that's how you move. You start at $1 with something that people can really see. Kathy says, if you haven't for clothing, look for the local thrift stores that support community hospitals and churches. They vet a lot of the clothing. They put out better, and they have better sales than Goodwill's. Absolutely. I would say that's a really good tip. Any local community thrift stores, they have amazing sales. I even saw somebody post on Instagram, 1 day a week, it's free. I mean, how lower is that? They're just trying to get rid of the inventory to bring in new stuff. And plus, I think people donate nicer things at church thrift stores. That would be my, that's huge. Vic is saying Tech helped her last night with finding things in her local zip code. Yeah, that's a huge thing. Yeah, exactly. That Brian in that store where the photos look like that, he does not accept returns and has no problem. So back to sell-through rate. I see Amber resells in the chat. She's a numbers lady. So Brian has only 10% sell-through per month. So he has 5,000 items and he only sells 500 per month, right? We talk about in the store trying to have 1% sell-through, which would actually be 1,666 sales with 5,000 items in his store. But the reason why 500 sales is fine is because he makes at least $20 profit per item. So now backing up to this, the average cost on an item in Brian's store is $50. Like if you were to get that item, so that's $250,000 of investment it would require to build that store. But he decided to do consignment instead. So zero cost of goods. His cost and his resume is how good his store looks. So Colin was talking about people come to him now. When you have that reputation, people will come to you because imagine you are, imagine I'm trying to sell my suit, right? Am I going to sell it to this guy? Because look at how the suits look. I'm selling it to this guy because I want all the money. This guy's going to ask $295 for a used suit. Then you'll see on Instagram, people say, oh, suits don't sell anymore. That's because you have a picture of it in your bathroom. And this guy has a picture that's professionally done. It's totally different. Yours looks like garbage. So that's the majority of eBay, unfortunately. It literally is like a garage sale.
What I've done to get to more people to come to sell stuff to me is I pay more than anybody. You know, I know what I can sell stuff for.
Mhm.
And if it means, and the other sellers may not know that, you know, this is what I've done I do this for a living, right? So you have to know what your profits can be. So if it means paying a little more for something, then they're going to tell their friends and anybody and I give out, you know, a 15% referral fee. If a big collection comes by, you know, I'll give somebody some extra money just because they gave me a $50,000 collection that I've got an opportunity to buy.
Yep.
You know.
That being said, Colin, a couple of thoughts with that. One, you have to be in a position to buy that, right? So I think that everyone, once a year, you'll get a ridiculous deal. You have to always be looking, number one, and then you have to have the money. So I've been watching a lot of different people come up, and a lot of them have the same story, which is they are really frugal, really cheap, really they do everything themselves. They save a lot of money. And then once in a while, a really good opportunity comes up. They take advantage. You buy that $50,000 sports collection for 15. You pay the most. Somebody comes in and lowballs them for 5. You offer 15. You're taking it. You spend the time looking through it. Now your Rolodex is awesome because you've looked through all of them and you know the value. And you come up 20, 25,000 on one sale. That will happen. People in the group, you will come across a deal where you make at least 5 figures. If you're always looking and you have the money to do it, and that $10,000 boost will usually change your life. It will eventually happen. I've seen it. As long as you're always looking and you're an expert. Like I'll tell you how obscure this is. This is how amazing technology is. This logo came up, right? And I texted him. Let's see if anybody in the chat knows what logo that is. It is so freaking obscure, in my opinion. And he knew what it was. And I swear he used Google, but maybe he didn't. But anyway, I picked it up and it sold pretty much right away. And it's just, how would you even know? It looked like a made up team to me, like somebody made a team for their taco truck. But it's not. It's a legit team.
That's what sells. If it's a defunct team, like a team that's no longer in the league, then they're not selling that particular shirt in a department store anymore or a sports store because they're not in the league anymore.
Exactly. I wonder how many sports guys know what this is. It's extremely obscure, in my opinion. Yeah, we all know Under Armour. That's not the team. This one. So yeah, that's it's so obscure.
That could be a team that is in like a Division III or a minor league team that literally nobody's gonna know.
That's right. So most people would know immediately. It's not a major league team.
Yeah.
I don't even know what sport it is. How do you even know what sport?
See, this is like I can't believe his Rolodex includes this obscure team. I wouldn't even know what state or city it is.
Is there a master list somewhere of major and minor league teams for all professional sports?
All day. You just gotta Google
The
it.
great orange herring. The great orange herring.
Well, text in the chat. It's the Delmarva Shorebirds. It's so random. Like, how would you know that?
Mascot. I didn't just type in. I can't lie. I typed in heron. I went with heron first. I typed in heron sports.
Yeah.
and I found it. Delmarva shorebirds. They
I
call
love
it
it.
the great orange heron.
Wait,
All
and
right,
that's
so
Go ahead.
did someone answer my question? Is there master lists of major and minor league teams for all the sports?
Of course. If you
Where?
just type in what sport, if you type in minor league baseball, there'll be a list of all of them.
How good does the Google image do with snapshotting an image of that particular logo, for instance, and
You ready?
identifying it? Yeah.
How good is it?
Better.
Pretty much instantaneous answers on any object on Earth. It's unbelievable. It's
The few times I've
unbelievable.
tried it, I've failed with
Jen,
handbags.
Can I tell you something, Jen, real quick?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Uh,
Nelson.
I had a Florida Gators logo yesterday on a full-on Under Armour jacket, and I'm like, this is the wrong color. It's just the wrong color. But I know it's the logo. I did the lens search and the logo came up and it was all Gator stuff, but it's just the wrong color.
Yeah.
I kept scrolling down. It's a private school. So some of these private schools have that much money.
Well,
You know,
definitely.
It's a random private school in this area of Omaha. Who knows? So if I didn't use Google Lens, I would have never found that. I would have thought it was a Gators jacket.
Well, and you guys have tech in the group, because all the time I'll send him a logo that looks like a logo and he'll be like, that's a local sports team. Or that's where I got Taco Truck, because I sent him I thought it was a Cubs jersey, but it was a local taco restaurant. They made a team for their league and it was not a Cubs jersey, it was a Taco Truck jersey. So yeah, but I mean, that's pretty insane. You'll even start to recognize all the different fakes. Texas, there are thousands of logos, so you just got to take your time and look through them and learn. But I couldn't believe that he knew that was Delmarva shorebirds, which is in Maryland. That is very random.
The other day, Isaiah had a hat. And Tech called. He was trying to find out the logo, and Tech Googled it and found out it was just a little league baseball team.
Yeah,
It looked like it would be a AAA hat or something. Logo was good. But yeah, it was just a little league baseball team.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Google Lens. I want, or when you on the iPhone, the Google Lens is in the app Google, and I think on a Droid, there's just a shortcut to it, and you can also upload a photo as well.
Yeah, I did want to say, if anybody tried the Google Lens, I can remember like maybe even a year ago trying the Google Lens. Like if anybody tried it like back in the past and it wasn't that great for you, like retry it, because it's like the database is getting heavy now and it's picking up a lot more than it used to.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and the technology is pretty old. I remember when I first moved here to the Bay Area, I went to this pitch contest, and a guy was starting to make this technology. And he's like, yeah, basically you hold the camera up to something and it will help you figure out, it'll look for it on the internet. This concept is probably like 10 years old, but he gave this really long pitch. And at the end, the investors were like, does anybody use your product? Like, who is using it? And he's like, oh yeah, Nintendo uses it now. They license our product. And the investors are like, how could you give a presentation and not say that Nintendo was your customer? Are you serious? Nintendo started using it to document their toys. Like that way they don't have to have the barcode sticking out for every item. They can just scan the item is the barcode. But it's going to be amazing. Eventually you'll be able to scan something and it will scan the condition also, maybe all the flaws. I think there will be a 3D version of the item that's easy to see eventually in the future. I think that would be really cool to be able to imagine, like you had VR goggles on and you could stick your arm out and the item that you're trying to buy, you could just hold it and 360 look at it. That would be cool.
I just tried the Google Lens on my dog toys. It worked great.
Yeah, it works instantly.
Popped right up.
It's amazing. And the
last time I used it, it did not work that well, but I think it was a very unusual overseas company that made this handbag. And I still don't know who made it.
Yep. Sometimes on obscure ones, it doesn't work, but usually it does. Let's see. Yeah, Ready Player One is awesome. I really enjoyed that movie. And my wife enjoyed it. I thought she would hate it, but she thought it was cool and she thought it was reasonable that people would live in shipping containers in the future, especially now that they're all over the place. Okay, this is a question I have for the chat. I all the time I find golf polos with the golf course logo and they sell fine. But does anyone have any tips or tricks or ideas on what you would do with the local golf course? Because they're everywhere. I mean, I would say maybe at least 10% of golf polos I find have a local golf course on it.
I've got great success with selling local golf club, and no matter what it is, even if it's not local, doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's a reputable brand that it's on, like FootJoy or Nike Golf or something like that.
Yeah.
It can be a restaurant. It doesn't have to be a local golf club. The polos and especially FootJoy, like dry joy jackets, sell for like $40, $60, whatever. It doesn't matter what's embroidered on.
So this is also a good thing for Google Lens. To use it on an iPhone, for me, I download the Google app, and on the right there's a microphone and a camera icon. You can click the camera icon, either take a picture directly of the item, or you can upload a photo. So I have that on a Droid. It's different. Colin?
I'm a golf pro, so
Yeah.
to that question, a lot of people do not want the logo on
True,
the shirt.
of course.
Like the pro shop, we'll have some logo stuff. Like if it's a private club, like members will buy it.
Yep.
But a lot of people, they just want a regular, but a nice shirt like a FootJoy or Adidas shirt that doesn't have a logo on it.
Yeah, definitely. You prefer that. Also, a lot, if you have a local golf pro friend, not all of them, but some of them are shady. I'm not from that, but my brother's a golf pro. So he will not sell any merchandise from the golf course because he's against that. But some golf pros will, and a lot of them, usually a golf course will have either a vendor or a person they sell all their end of season stuff to. That's a really, really good market. If you guys can figure out how to become a authorized person, that's perfect. Colin, any feedback on that?
Yeah, that definitely. You can. There's a lot of it's like a liquidation places that'll open up maybe for a month in a hotel. But yeah, they'll go to all the golf clubs and they're buying shirts for pennies on the dollar, really.
Yep, definitely.
Because a lot of clubs, whatever they don't sell, they can't ship back. Then that's where a logoed shirt comes in.
That's right.
You can't send that logoed shirt back, but a regular shirt or golf shoes, you can usually send golf shoes back, or just trading them with a different golf outfit, like a sports store that sells golf stuff. Like I'm from Canada, so there's a store up here in Golf Town that a club, if they're looking for a size 6 for a customer and they don't have it, we'll just phone Golf Town and exchange a size 7 for a size 6 so that we can get the customer what they need.
Mark?
Yesterday, another use for the Google Lens that I found out is I'm bad at knowing what the pattern names are.
Yeah.
And taking photos of patterns to get the name of it. It works great with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you're looking up houndstooth or what's that Swedish? See, yeah, there's different patterns that you can just Google Lens and it will tell you what pattern it is. Let's see.
Just getting back to the logo, if it's an iconic golf course like Pebble Beach or Seminole, that will definitely sell for a premium.
Yeah, that's true. I find Pebble Beach stuff here in California pretty often. And even if it's really old, it'll still sell. People like that. Let's see. Okay, so people had asked, is it worth it to list at a specific time of day? I have tried that. I can do a new listing every 5 minutes, 24 hours a day. It makes little to no difference. So don't waste time doing that. Just list consistently. Pick the flip as saying, what is a good sell-through rate? So between 1 and 100%, depending on what it is. If you sell Rolexes and you have 100 and you sell 1 a year, that might be good. But if you sell, actually, we can use the same example here. If you sell Rolex Daytonas, let's say the most iconic one, and you have any Rolex that's 5% below market, it will usually sell same day. And if you have a Rolex that's 5% over market, you might never sell one. That's how sensitive it is. And I think that Rolex has the tightest price margin of any brand, meaning like I think wholesale Rolex might be 80% of retail. That's how tight the margin is. Like there's no room for any adjustment. So it really depends on what you sell. Okay, if you're looking for a generic answer, I think you actually already lost on eBay. So everyone think about that. Be really specific when you ask questions, and it will help you identify all of the issues that you're thinking about. So as an example, that is a good question. Does it matter which specific time of day you list? Because you might think, okay, it might be more beneficial to do it in the afternoon. But here's the part that's interesting. If the better answer is what time each day can you schedule to launch your listings? That's a better question because your day is different. Your situation is different. Your scheduling is like 90% of whether or not you're successful or not on eBay. That's why people who have a full-time job kill it. Someone in the group had asked me, they just got a new job opportunity, but they want to do eBay full-time. So what I would recommend you do is, and they have some debt that they want to pay off. A lot of people are in this situation. If you want to pay off debt, make sure you have a job because you'll have dual income. That's the fastest way to pay down debt. Keep your day job, do what the tile guy did, work your 50-hour back-breaking job, and an hour after work, list 5 items. So that's amazing schedule. Work all day. He does eBay to relax. Okay, so bust ass all day. On the way home, stop at the thrift store, find 5 really good items, list them at home, have a beer. Then in January, he's really planning ahead. January, he wants to take the whole month off and go full time. He's probably making good money doing tile. That's probably why he hasn't scheduled it earlier. But he's going to learn the eBay business this year before trying to go full time next year. So that's what people should do. People are so impatient. They want to immediately quit their job and make a full-time living reselling. That doesn't work at any other job. You could not say, I'm going to immediately be a licensed plumber. You can't do that. Can't be even a golf pro. There is a program you have to go through. My brother did the PGA thing. It took a few years. So it doesn't, why can't you give yourself a few years to learn reselling? Let's see.
Hey, Chris.
Yep.
I have a question, just recalling back to defects and cancellations. The new seller update, did they take away reasons for cancellation?
Oh, I saw your question. Sorry about that. I don't know if that has been removed. Maybe Tech knows or other people know if the option for other has been removed on the reason for cancellation. But I would, let's see. I don't know. Because I haven't used that in such a long time. I don't know what the
my defects are 0 and everything on time shipments, everything. And I've noticed that my traffic has just been throttled maybe 20 or 30% over the last 3 weeks. And I thought it was just the seller update. Then I started looking when you said that today, that it'll take away options. Cause I had a couple of cancellations, stupid little things, wrong sizes that were, I sold that I didn't have. And then I looked today, just when you said that, and there's no other. So I wondered if you had heard.
I'm going to look right now and see if, so wait, this is when this is when you are ending the item, ending an active item?
Just now I looked at something that I had sold yesterday and I just clicked cancel and just to see what reasons I would have offered to me. And it was only 3 reasons now and no other was gone. So
I think it's always been only 3 reasons. I think the other is only when you end an item early.
Oh, I see. Before shipping or something?
Yeah, because I think it's always been the same. There's only 3, which is out of stock, buyer asked to cancel, or issue with buyer's shipping address.
I see.
So yeah, I wonder if since I've seen that option removed for, actually I've never seen the option removed here. They oops. Yeah, it's always there. Yeah, those are always the same three.
Okay. So I'm comparing
Um,
apples and oranges then.
Those are two different examples. Yeah, that would be in the when you're ending an item. Um, Nika is saying, what is eBay's theory behind making sellers cancel orders? Why can't buyers cancel their own orders? That was when I went to the eBay high roller meeting, they asked that. They're like, if a buyer wants to cancel an order, why can't they? Um, there's no easy answer for that. I guess eBay wants to make sure you haven't shipped it yet. That would be my guess.
That's what I was about to say.
They didn't have a good answer though. Yeah, I remember I went to that eBay meeting. I was selling like 50 items a day, and everyone was selling like 1,000 items a day. So I didn't know why I was there. I should have just been like serving coffee to those people. It was just very interesting looking at all of those people selling those huge amounts. All had deals to be authorized dealers of something. That's really the key. If you want to sell Nike, you can become an authorized dealer or something. If you want to get crazy sales, you have to be allowed to sell that brand.
They're gated together though. I have a friend who's an authorized dealer in a couple of shoe brands.
Yeah.
And it's like some brands like will only give you authorization if other brands trust you enough to give you authorization. So it's like you get Ultra, and then after getting Ultra, they give you, you get ASICs or something like that. And then if ASIC says you're cool enough to work with, then maybe you can get Hoka. But in order to get things like Nike, Reeboks, and Under Armour, it's almost impossible to get those, and like Adidas and stuff like that. Very, very difficult brands to get. But if you get one of them, then it's much easier to get the other ones.
It's also extremely difficult to get the rights to sell it online. You could get the rights to sell it in person at a brick and mortar, but the license to sell online is different.
Yeah, exactly. They're very, very strict for online sellers. Like if you were talking about this in the call yesterday, like if you go, hey, they gave it to me brand new, so I'm going to sell it for, 30% of what the max reach. Oh, she's so huge. It's adorable.
Yeah, special guest today. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Yeah, I was to say, but if you like sell them under the price that they tell you to sell it for, like they will very quickly void your contract and you'll be done. It'll be over for you. And if you, like I said, they're connected to each other. So if you lose one, you're gonna lose the other ones too.
Yep. You have to be very careful with map pricing. You have to agree to a specific price. You can't sell below. Baby learned how to crawl this week. Very exciting. I thought she was going to skip to walking, but she figured it out. So let's see. And I think, another thing that really helps out, she's up early today, but I got a 10-minute, a mom has suggested that she has a 10-minute break in between each task. So this call ends at 7:00 in the morning. She usually wakes up around now or between now and 7:10. That's the hard cutoff for the morning. And then I go change her, but she was up early this morning. Colin, more feedback, questions?
Yeah, for sourcing, like when I'm buying a collection, I'll travel anywhere to get it. And so for you guys, like the clothing, like I've been hearing you guys just kind of stick to your own thrift stores that are in your own location. I used to live in Jupiter, Florida, and the thrift stores down there, they sell cashmere sweaters and all the high-end stuff. So if you live, in Georgia, a 5-hour drive is totally worth it to drive down to some of the richer areas to buy all their stuff,
Oh, 100%. I would say that if you're selling video games or sports cards or collectibles, you might have to drive to wherever it is or fly in, because those pop up in different opportunities. So it's very interesting looking at.
When I go to a roller skate meet, I always thrift in the foreign town I'm in. And in fact, got a vintage Brahmin purple croc leather shoulder bag for $5.99 at a Salvation Army in Ohio.
Amazing. Yeah. Thrift when you go, you can write off some of the trip too. Tom?
1 sec, Spare. It's okay, mate. It was regarding the first question, so it's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Would you call him cowboy something?
Oh, cowboy builders. Yeah, people that say they're plumbers and builders when they're not licensed. So they end up causing you they end up costing more money when you go back and rectify the issue. So you don't want to be a cowboy eBayer as well.
Yeah, no cowboy eBays.
Because you just end up having to go back and rectify everything you've done. That's why, it's important to work and do this as a side hustle first. That's what we were talking about earlier. Because my store is coming up to 1,500 units, and I'm barely, I'm making money out of that. I'm taking a wage each month, but anything under 1,000 units, you kind of need a part-time job to go with it. But it was just regarding, the question was regarding picking up a few items when you're growing that will sell and turn over quick, like what Isaiah was saying. But yeah, cool. It's a great topic today. Cheers.
I wouldn't even know how to give a plumbing quote. So that's what is just, yeah, I think it's cheaper to pay a pro than to try and figure out yourself most of the time. And, that's what the group's for. Everyone's trying not to be a cowboy reseller. I don't mind cowboy resellers because you got to figure it out. But what I don't like is armchair resellers. Don't sit in your chair. That's not reselling. You got to get up and go do it. But I appreciate everyone. Everyone have a wonderful day. Join the group if you find value in this type of call. Smash the like button if you are on YouTube. And see you guys later. Oh, actually, before we leave, podcast is at 2 p.m. today, live recording. If you guys are in the group, we record the podcast every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today, we do have the $99 level coaching that starts an hour after that you don't need. You can just sign up for the Facebook group and tag us, and you get the same. We'll still answer your question. You don't need to pay the $99, but some people like to have the one-on-one conversation. That's the second and fourth week each month, second and fourth Wednesday, if you want to hop on that call. It's not necessarily higher level, but there are higher level people in there. The highest level call is the Thursday media call, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. That has all the ballers